You think the consequences usually is going to be borne at the end of the month when you get your salary. But of course, there's technology nowadays for everything. You can cut down even on your electricity and water. And of course, there are very many technologies that you can take up, especially when you want to cut down on those costs and put a few coins back into your purse. In studio, we already have engineer Elizabeth Nyambura, who is going to be telling us about another solution that you can take up: solar. Most of the people don't usually look at solar as something that you can be using when you're cutting on costs. Elizabeth is going to be cutting down on that for us. Elizabeth, welcome to TV47. And also we have Alfred Mathu. You're just going to give us, you're a financial analyst. You're going to give us a perspective on how we can budget. What are some of the things we can take up to cut our costs every single month? It's January. The mistakes have already been made in December. We already used up all the money that we had. We had a lot of sherehes, there were, family gatherings, and then in January you have to buy school uniform for your children. What are some of the tips and tricks that you can take up? But before we delve into that, we have to look at some of the statistics in households. Of course, the typical Kenyan household, their spendings, a third of expenditure is usually used on food and non-alcoholic beverages. Now, a lot of people might not take this too seriously, but a third of your spending is about 33% of your total salary. You're using that on only food and non-alcoholic beverages, not even the ones for sherehe. Of course, 14.6%, around 15%, goes to electricity, water, housing, and gas, things that are very essential for living, and 10% goes to transport. Kenyans move around a lot. We go to work, we go to school, we go to do our businesses. 10% usually goes on transportation. This is just an average of the common household within, Kenya. 8.1% goes to restaurants and accommodation when you're, having maybe family gatherings or you're meeting up with your friends. 8.1% typically goes into that, and 7.7% goes on information and communication. That is your cellular device, when you're sending emails, on your internet, you're calling people. 7.7%. 3.74%, around 4%, goes on furnishings and household items. Those are usually, your wall paintings, when you're maybe buying a new couch, when you have a new TV set. People are usually very excited about those things. Around 3.74% goes into that, and around 3% goes on clothing and footwear. Now, of course, I have to ask you, David, if you could just tell us, of these spendings, do you believe that Kenyans are making the correct decision?
Thank you very much to our listeners. Alfred Mathu is my name. I'm a financial advisor. I give people advice on all sorts of investments.
Right.
To help them make best decisions that will give them security for their future.
Right.
In terms of how Kenyans spend their money, we are majorly a spending community.
Right.
People are not looking at what would give them a bit of cushion in the bad times. We spend as though it's a competition.
Right.
We make money, and the better chunk of that money is actually going into lifestyle expenses.
Right.